Get ready to immerse yourselves in the universe of one of the most unique and charming creatures in poultry, the Silkie Chicken breed, also known as the Japanese Silkie. But this won't be just any superficial journey, like any other video where we only talk about what most of us already know about this breed. We'll go beyond its undeniable beauty to unravel the mysteries hidden deep within its very being. Have you ever wondered how a chicken can be so small and, at the same time, so majestic? How is it possible for its plumage to be incredibly soft, as if it were silk or cotton? What genetic magic grants them those 5 peculiar toes, or that mysterious dark blue, almost black skin that seems straight out of another world? Today, we will not only answer these questions, but we are going to break down, gene by gene, the complex and rich genetic structure that defines this Bantam breed, a true prodigy of nature. And just when you think you've seen it all, that the Silkie can't surprise you anymore, I'm going to take you to the limits of what's imaginable. You will witness a bold and astonishing genetic experiment, the cross between a Silkie and a Naked Neck Chicken. We'll uncover the amazing combination of genes that results from this union, creating a creature that is a visual paradox, a true gem for the senses. This isn't just an aesthetic whim. This example will open our minds to the infinite possibilities of avian genetics, showing us how understanding these patterns can be used to achieve unique aesthetic or productive qualities, surpassing all expectations. Ready for this unprecedented journey? Join us on this adventure, where science and beauty merge in the most spectacular way. Let's begin. Meet the queen of sweetness, the Silkie. If there's one chicken that looks like it stepped right out of a fairy tale, it's the Silkie. Did you know its history dates back centuries in Asia, likely ancient China? Even Marco Polo was impressed when he saw them in the 13th century. They were so exotic that when they arrived in the West, some were even called hairy birds in circuses. Imagine the astonishment. The first thing that takes your breath away about a Silkie is its plumage. It's not like other chickens. It's so soft, fluffy, and silky that it truly feels like fur or cotton. This is because its feathers don't have the tiny hooks that normally hold them together, giving them that unique texture. And here's the craziest part. Underneath those feathers, their skin, bones, and even their meat are a dark blue or black. Yes, they're gothic chickens on the inside. Oh, and one more detail I mentioned at the beginning. They have 5 toes on each foot instead of the normal 4. And let's not forget those striking turquoise earlobes. It's like a work of art from nature, but beauty isn't their only defining characteristic. If you're looking for a chicken with the tenderest personality, the Silkie is your candidate. They are incredibly docile, gentle, and calm. There's no aggression in them. They love human companionship, enjoy being held and petted, and are perfect for interacting, even with the youngest members of the family. They're perfect as backyard pets. As for eggs, don't expect massive production, as they are more ornamental birds than productive ones. They lay between 80 and 120 small cream or white eggs per year. But here comes their true superpower, their most valuable and endearing attribute. Silkies are, without a doubt, the best mothers in the avian kingdom. Their brooding instinct is so strong and their dedication so unwavering that they not only incubate their own eggs, but they will sit on anything that looks like an egg, even those of other birds like ducks, geese, or pheasants. They are the perfect foster mothers, the VIP nannies of the coop. In fact, let me share a personal anecdote that perfectly illustrates this quality. When I was about 17 years old, a friend of my mom's gave me a white Silkie. She called her Japanese Chicken, and I must confess that at first, she seemed like a very strange variety to me. It was the first time I had ever seen anything like it. But let me tell you something, she was the best hen I ever had for incubating the eggs of all the other chickens at home. I went from having 3 hens and a rooster to a population of over 25 birds in total. All thanks to my beautiful Silkie, who incubated and brooded non-stop. She was a protective, attentive, and dedicated mother like no other. But why are they so exceptional in this role? Their docile temperament and dense plumage make them perfect for keeping eggs warm and chicks protected. If you have a broody Silkie and want to take advantage of her gift, here's a tip. Prepare a comfortable and secluded nest for her, and make sure she has easy access to food and water. Although they are incredibly dedicated, it's crucial to supervise that they don't get too exhausted if they're constantly brooding. Sometimes, if we don't want them to continue brooding, it's necessary to break their broody state to ensure their well-being. Their instinct is a blessing, but it needs to be managed with love and knowledge. With so much beauty comes some specific care requirements. Since their plumage isn't waterproof, they don't like rain or mud. You need to ensure they have a dry and protected coop. Another point, that beautiful crest on their head sometimes covers their eyes, so occasionally you'll need to give them a bangs trim, like a beautiful princess, so they can see well and don't miss their food or water. And with such dense plumage, keep an eye out for parasites or mites. You need to be vigilant. Silkies come in a rainbow of diverse colors: pure white, jet black, a beautiful bluish gray called blue, fawn, mottled gray, partridge, intense red, lavender, and even copper. Plus, you can find them with or without that charming beard and muffs that give them an even rounder and sweeter appearance. Their primary role is as ornamental and showbirds. They are stars on poultry runways in many countries, but their personality has also propelled them to fame as companion pets. They are also hardier than they look, as long as they are kept dry. Cold doesn't bother them as much if there's no humidity. And while they enjoy a good stroll, their size and calm demeanor make them perfect for small backyards. Did you know that in traditional Chinese medicine, their black meat was used for its healing properties? A surprising fact. And yes, they are such good mothers that in zoos and conservation programs, they are used to raise rare or endangered birds. They are the VIP foster mothers. Now comes the most exciting part of the video for me, breaking down the genetics behind these special traits of the Silkie breed, as they possess a very complex and rich genetic makeup. Unlike other traits that are due to specific single-gene mutations, the Bantam size in Silkies is not attributed to a single dwarfism gene as such. Rather, it is an intrinsic characteristic of the breed that has been selected and fixed over generations by breeders. Silkie breeders and other true Bantam breeds have selected breeding stock that are naturally smaller, consolidating the reduced size through long-term selective breeding. It's the result of the accumulation of multiple genes that contribute to body size, all selected towards a smaller phenotype. The most distinctive characteristic of the Silkie is its soft, silky plumage, which resembles hair, as we've already mentioned. This is due to a genetic mutation that affects the structure of the feathers. Normally, bird feathers have small structures called barbules and barbicels, hooks, that interlock like Velcro, making the feather rigid and waterproof. In the Silkie, this mutation prevents the barbules from hooking correctly. Without those interlocked hooks, the feathers remain loose, soft, and with a woolly or hair-like texture, instead of being smooth and rigid. This trait is inherited recessively. This means that a chicken needs to have 2 copies of this mutated gene, one from each parent, to display the silky plumage. If it only had 1 copy, it would be a carrier but would have normal plumage. The presence of a 5th toe on the feet of the Silkie, and other breeds like the Dorking or the Houdan, is due to a specific dominant gene for polydactyly. This gene causes a duplication or an additional growth in the area of the back toe hallux, resulting in the 5th toe. The expression can vary, sometimes resulting in a well-formed toe, and at other times a more rudimentary spur. Being a dominant gene, only 1 copy of the polydactyly gene from one of the parents is needed for the offspring to exhibit the 5th toe. If a Silkie has the 5th toe, at least one of its parents also had it. The dark, almost black color of the Silkie's skin, meat, bones, and even some internal organs is due to a genetic condition called fibromelanosis. This condition is caused by a specific dominant gene, often referred to as the FM gene. This FM gene causes extreme hyperpigmentation due to the proliferation of melanocytes, melanin-producing cells, in the connective tissues, dermis, and organs. It's not just a superficial skin color, but a deep and widespread pigmentation. Fibromelanosis is a highly valued trait in ornamental breeds like the Silkie and the Ayam Cemani, where it is even more intense. This trait is believed to have originated in Asia and has been selected by breeders for its uniqueness. Being a dominant gene, if a Silkie chicken has this gene FM, it will exhibit dark skin. For the trait to be transmitted, only one of the parents needs to have a copy of the FM gene. Having thoroughly explored all the magic of the Silkie, the next step is to open the door to the unexpected. What happens when breeders' imaginations know no bounds? When curiosity pushes them to explore combinations that, at first glance, would seem impossible. This is where the avian world presents us with a true visual paradox, something that, even after fully understanding the Silkie, will leave you speechless. If you thought the Silkie was already peculiar, prepare for a surprise, because there exists a creature that is the result of audacity and the pursuit of the extraordinary, the Naked Neck Silkie. Yes, you heard that right. A Silkie with a completely bare neck. Imagine that splendid mass of soft, fluffy plumage that we already love, that dark skin, and those eyes barely peeking out from the crest, strikingly contrasted with a smooth, featherless neck. It's a visual shock, a combination that defies logic and seems to come from a parallel dimension. Look at her closely. This variety is a true curiosity. the fruit of passionate breeders who dared to mix the incredible to create something never before seen. It's not a trick, it's the result of genetics at work, giving us a chicken that is not only unique but a statement. And the story behind how this particular look is achieved is as fascinating as the bird itself. Now let's uncover the genetics behind the Naked Neck Silkie variety. Let's see how the genes combine to produce these beautiful specimens. The silky plumage gene, called H, is responsible for that cloud-like texture we love so much. It's a recessive gene, as I mentioned earlier. This means the silkie needs to inherit 2 copies of this gene, one from its father and one from its mother, to have that peculiar, soft plumage. If it only had 1 copy, its plumage would be normal, although it would be a carrier. In addition to this, we also have the fibromelanosis gene FM, the secret behind its dark skin, meat, and bones. This is a dominant gene. With just 1 copy of this gene, the chicken will already display that deep pigmentation. We also have the polydactyly gene PO, which grants it those 5 distinctive toes. This is a dominant gene. A single copy is enough for the extra toe to appear. Now, what happens if we introduce a new player to this comprehensive and fascinating genetic game? The naked neck gene. This NA gene is dominant. This is key. With just 1 copy of this gene, a chicken will have a bare neck. If it has 2 copies, the effect is even more pronounced, sometimes with fewer feathers in other areas as well. The magical combination. How was the Naked Neck Silkie created, genetically speaking? To achieve a Naked Neck Silkie, breeders had to perform strategic crosses to ensure the correct genes met. It's not something that happens by accident in a pure silkie, because silkies by definition have feathered necks. Their gene for the neck is recessive, which allows plumage on the neck. Let's imagine the simplified process. The first cross, F1. A daring breeder like you watching this video crosses a pure silkie, which has silky plumage, dark skin, 5 toes, and a feathered neck, with a naked neck chicken, which has a bare neck and normal plumage all over its body. Imagine for a moment the genetic complexity we have here. Can you picture it? It's fascinating, right? The first generation, F1, of chicks from this cross would be as follows. All would have a bare neck because they inherit the NA gene, which is dominant, but their plumage would be normal. Because they inherit the dominant H gene from the naked neck and the recessive H from the silkie, resulting in HH plumage. This F1 result would have dark skin and 5 toes, inheriting the dominant FM and PO genes from the silkie. So in this first stage, we would get a chicken with a bare neck, dark skin, and 5 toes, but with normal feathers on the rest of its body, meaning it wouldn't have the soft, characteristic silky plumage. That's not the naked neck silkie we're looking for, right? The key cross to obtain the variety we're seeking, generally a back cross or F2. I'm revealing genetic secrets that cost me years, time, and especially money to discover and learn, because this information isn't publicly available everywhere, so take full advantage of it. To get a naked neck silkie with silky plumage, the breeder needs the offspring to inherit 2 copies of the recessive H gene, Silky, in addition to the NA gene for the bare neck. This is achieved by crossing the chicks from the first generation, F1, back with a pure silkie, or by crossing 2 F1 individuals with each other, although I don't recommend this last option because it would be closed inbreeding and can lead to long-term physical and health problems. By crossing our obtained F1, normal plumage but a carrier of the silky gene, with another silky breed specimen, preferably one not related to the initial cross specimens, this cross results in approximately half of the offspring inheriting the 2 HH copies of the silky plumage. And that's how these beautiful versions of naked neck silkies are obtained. It's a true genetic feat that demonstrates how, by understanding the mechanisms of inheritance, breeders can design birds with truly unique and spectacular combinations of characteristics. A work of art of nature and human patience. This is just one example of how valuable genetic knowledge can be used to achieve what one desires, such as more productive hens in terms of egg laying, or efficient chickens for meat production. By understanding the genetic world, the limit is only set by you. We've reached the end of this extraordinary journey through the fascinating world of the Silkie chicken, from its ancient origins to the most intimate secrets of its DNA and the bold creations of modern genetics. We hope this journey has further ignited your passion for these marvelous birds. If this video has captivated you and you've learned something new, we ask for a small favor that means the world to us. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss our upcoming avian adventures. Activate the notification bell to be the first to know about every new video released on the channel. Leave us a comment below telling us what surprised you most about the Silkie, or if you have any experience with them. We love reading your comments. Share this video on your social media so more bird lovers can discover the wonders of the Silkie. And of course, if you liked it, give us a big thumbs up to support us. To your success, fellow breeder. Until next time.